are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it and are not afraid to say it. And are not afraid to say it. And are not.
What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up?
Yes, sure.
Yes. People Before Politics radio show. We are back in the house, giving news with a black point of view. I am the publisher, Damon K. Jones, and my partner is here, AJ Woodson,
Yes.
editor-in-chief of Black Westchester magazine. AJ?
Yes. Can you hear
me? Yeah.
I'm trying to. Yo, what are we on? Your YouTube channel?
I think so.
I was trying to find it. That's what I was trying to do.
Yeah, Damon K. Jones. Yeah, we on my YouTube channel. And hey, Shanice, what's happening? Brother Jeffrey, Brother Michael. What's happening, everybody? Everybody, if I missed you, everybody else, thanks for tuning in tonight. And we also have we also have the papers out.
Yes. So yes, the paper came out Friday. As y'all know, I took an extended break, just much needed break. So the paper came out a couple weeks late, but it is out Friday. It is the August issue, but there is an official August issue coming out on August 19th. But yes, it's out there. In a city near you, we so far I was able to get ran through New Rochelle, ran through Mount Vernon, ran through Yonkers yesterday. Should be some papers out in Peekskill. Tarrytown will be hit later this week. Damon will get Greenberg. So we'll it's out there.
This the paper right here.
Yep.
So definitely y'all check it out. Great issue. We got some great articles in it.
Got some powerful letters to the editor from about what's going on in Greenberg and the affordable housing. A couple of residents stepped up and wrote some powerful letters, and they're both in there. So definitely make sure you check that out. This is it was the 8-year anniversary of the website and the radio show, and the 5-year anniversary of the newspaper. So this is part one of the 2-part anniversary issue.
Great. Yeah, I have some articles in there and about health and wellness. Have an article which I'll probably talk about later about the pushback that TD Jakes received in addressing male and female relationships, masculinity and femininity.
That's a powerful article, yes.
And they literally tried to basically cancel our brother, but I don't understand how you get canceled for addressing relationships through spiritual terms. I don't understand how we get to this point that, you know, everybody has an opinion, you know, and if a pastor gives him an opinion based on scripture, you know, how do we push, you know, why are we pushing back? You know, and there was one remark from a female, you know, told people not to go to TD Jakes' church because the church shouldn't be in your relationship. Well, the Bible speaks about relationships from the front to the end. So what are they talking about? You know, whether you're a real religious person or not, if you say you're a Christian, and from my understanding, unless there was a new book out there, the Bible is the religious book of the Christians, and it speaks on relationships from the front to the end. So I don't understand that. So,
well, actually, let me go further. Even if you're not a Christian, every religion speaks of relationships and the man and the woman in the marriage. Every relationship. I'm sure there's stuff in the Quran. There's stuff in the Quran. There's other things.
Exactly.
But you know what? So people want you to speak the truth until it's truth they don't like.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And you could disagree or agree. I mean, you know, what he said was powerful, and we don't have enough black pastors, especially those who have big platforms, speaking out on issues like this, because it would be considered controversial and they would get pushback. So they don't want to lose members or funding or whatever, so they won't speak up on issues like that. So I have to give it to this brother for being bold and speaking. Right. You got to give him that. Like,
right. Absolutely, man. We have to, you know, and I think more pastors need to talk about black male relationships, because of the fact that, you know, the black family right now is in a decline, is becoming an endangered species, black marriage, you know, and without black family, you know, how are you going to have black community, you know, and without black community, how are you going to have black nation? It's not about one being above the other. It's about understanding, you know, what you are, you
know. So here's the other thing. Other people outside of us understand our power structure and understand the power of black unity, black families, which helped create black generational wealth, so on and so on and so on. So a lot of these things are put out by those outside of our community to distract us and to divide us, and we continue to fall for the banana in the tailpipe. That's like, you know, the 5% is talking about knowing knowledge of self. That once you have your knowledge of self or who you are, see, that's their fear. We ever get it together and we start working together and we have strong family units. You know what I'm saying? Things is on a whole nother level.
Right.
And they understand that. The problem is we don't always understand it.
Exactly. Let me, you know, and I'm starting to work on a piece to talk about how generational wealth is built through marriage, right? And the fact that it's no coincidence that black people have the lowest generational wealth, and also black Americans have the lowest percentage of children living in 2-parent family homes, right? So we have to we got to talk about that because we don't have these conversations, because we are in this culture now, this Black culture, that we don't teach our sons to be husbands, and we don't teach our daughters to be wives. We teach our sons to be pimps and gangsters and bosses and everything else. And we teach our daughters to be everything else, and you don't need a man and all this other stuff. But that is trickery, because without family, we got through slavery and Jim Crow because the man and the woman. It is what it is.
Family.
Because of family. Because of marriages. We got married when it was forbidden in slavery. How the hell do you have a high percentage of marriages in slavery than we have, and we have all this material wealth, right? So something's not right. Something's not right. They valued family more in slavery than we value family now, and we supposed to be, moving on up the ladder. So
more evolved. More evolved.
Yeah, but we're not evolved. We're unevolved, because the family structure is damn near non-existent in the Black community. And we look at our community, and our community is just raising hell. So we have to have these type of discussions, whether you agree with it or not. Dawn C. Wright, hey, what's up, sister? Thanks for tuning in. And the call-in number is 914-418-4681. If anybody wants to call in and try and try this new system we have. So, people can call in, you could give a comment, you can make a statement, brief, and you could allow other people to call in. So if anybody, while we're live here on Facebook, and we're live on YouTube, and we're live on LinkedIn, please call in. And if you want to, if not, we're just going to continue. There's another going outside of Black Westchester. I think there's an article I wanted to talk about, because a lot of people. Oh, where's the article, man? What happened to the article? A lot of people. A lot of people don't give my sister the credit that Karen Edmondson. So NPR,
yes,
has been running a series of stories on Yonkers Police Department, and following through on the issue of police accountability. And this last article really explained the alleged police misconduct cost the city of Yonkers, New York, millions, right? And the complaints kept coming. I've been saying this a long time. It's easier for these municipalities to pay out settlements to police brutality victims than straighten up their police department and hold officers accountable.
And pay with your taxpayer dollars.
Exactly. Now, what's crazy, they have an officer in here. That had so many complaints, and the city. It says check this out. This is crazy. We found that one officer, Alex Della Donna, was involved in at least 9 settlements over alleged misconduct that happened after the DOJ started the investigation.
Oh, wow.
Not before, but after. The city paid out over $402,000 for cases he was involved in. $402,000 for one officer, right? And it says one case is still being litigated, although Della Donda retired at the age of 45 in late 2021. It says NPR made numerous attempts to contact Della Donda by phone. But, yo, that's crazy. And another woman alleged in the court complaint that Della Donda coerced her to have sex with him at least 7 times. How did he retire?
Right.
How did he retire? How did he have a job? And he just retired 2021.
Late 2021.
Right, he just retired.
I want to give Karen a shout out as well, because she is one of the people spearheaded in bringing the DOJ into Yonkers to investigate the Yonkers Police Department through her tireless efforts, and she doesn't get credit for that a lot of times. So,
dude, hold on, I'm not finished. Despite the disciplinary hearings and lawsuits alleging misconduct, Della Donda receives 14 departmental awards. In total, he received 59 awards throughout the course of his 15 years with the Yonkers Police Department. And I'm trying to find out, how did he retire at 45 with 15 years, unless he had time from another police department, or he went out on 207C, which he claimed he got hurt. That needs to be the next question. How did he retire after 15 years and at 45? Because usually the only way you could do that is go out on job injury. So now you got a tax-free check. You cost the city a damn near $500,000 and then you retire. That's crazy. See, and this is why I've gotten tired, literally tired of talking about this, because these politicians don't do anything. And these are Democrats. When you really look into what's going on, you will see that they don't do anything. They are still enablers of a racist, fraudulent system. Because there's no way in the private sector you could cost Apple almost $500,000 and still have your job.
Right.
In lawsuits. And this has nothing to do to the good cops that go out there every day and don't get no complaints and go do their job, make fair arrest, go to court, do what they have to do, and go home and go home to their family. This has nothing. So I don't want to hear that bullshit. But the people in Yonkers, or any taxpayer, and I guarantee you could go through damn near most of the municipalities and you could find an officer just like this one. Hey, Nas, what's happening? You could find an officer just like this one that have cost the city hundreds of thousands of dollars and just retire and go to Florida. That's not accountability, ladies and gentlemen. And this is not defunding the police. Actually, he defunded the police department. Because that $400,000 that they gave away in lawsuits because of him, that could have been put back into the police department.
So we have a question. So what do you propose? Is there an actual solution? Because all this is all true and it's heinous. Shout out to Lane Cobb.
Yeah, thanks, Lane. We've been proposing. We've been proposing for the last 20 years. You know, there's an extensive outline, Lane, that we have to address all this. You know, but the politicians don't want to act. They don't want to act. Lane, ask your representatives whatever happened to all those police reform panels. It just disappeared.
Yeah, because every city had to come up with a
exactly
had to come up with something addressing police reform in their they had to hand it into the state.
Yeah, and what happened?
Nothing has ever been done with that.
What happened? And why should and see this is we get played all the time. Why should the municipalities put it together? Why can't the highest ranking law enforcement official in the state just give down policy? Right? And that's the AG. See, she too worried about putting Trump in jail, but nobody has followed through. I guess because Cuomo resigned, nobody wants to address it no more. Well, that was Cuomo.
Right, and it faded when he had to step out of office. So
no, the shit faded when it got sent to the AG's office because she ain't done shit. So the whole right, because it was supposed to go to her office, and she was supposed to look. She was supposed to look through all of them, and then make a grand recommendation from all the different recommendations. That was just a waste of time, because these are what these politicians do. They do it so we'll forget. And then it's on to the next thing. Then it's on to Trump. Oh, let's go back. And we could put Trump in jail. Y'all ain't put Trump in jail yet. Leave it alone. Leave it alone. The man's going to die. The man's going to die from eating all that McDonald's before y'all put him in jail.
Wow.
Because he looks horrible. Before y'all put him in jail, he's going to die. And then y'all wasted all his taxpayer dollars. You wasted all this rhetoric for nothing, because that's what's going to happen.
Absolutely.
You know, so we always, you know, we always fall for the banana in the tailpipe from these politicians, especially when it comes to police reform. And if anybody, you know, my sister Naz is watching, you know, like her son was killed. How many politicians have sat down with the mothers and say, yeah, we know that this man killed your son, but we're gonna give him high-speed internet, iPads, and PlayStations.
If he goes to jail, because a lot of these things are unsolved. That's if he goes to jail.
Right.
And actually, Black Westchester sat down with more of the mothers than the police officers in their department, in their cities.
Right.
Because we get the calls and we do the interviews, and we, you know, Damon gets the calls. We comfort the mothers. We help them get their stories out. Nancy K. Maldonado. You know what I'm saying? We help these people get their stories out. You know.
But you know, I mean, there's a disconnect, right? There's a real disconnect. You know, the Black communities right now. The Black communities right now is in chaos. You know, and just like I asked Bob, you know, our resident socialist and scholar. You know, what do you do now, right? Because everybody's saying, see, this is the same thing that happened back when they did the crime bill. Black communities was out of control. right? And then they did the crime bill. So what do you what do you say now? Right? What do you say now? Now that the black communities, now that all communities is out of control.
Black West has done way more support than people who should be. Thank you, Nas.
Yeah, thank you, sis. Thank you, sis. You know, as I said,
Do we have a call in?
You know what? I can't. No.
As you see, we back. We trying out a whole bunch of new stuff. We trying to get all of this stuff down. We will get it down. So this is all a work in progress. We're making the stuff up as we go along. But if it doesn't work today, we do have a call in, and we will have call ins.
Exactly. If you call this number from an 845, please call back. Area code. I think that was Tanya.
Latanya?
No, but Latanya will come up.
Oh.
If you call from the 845, please call back. I'm sorry. But
so I want to switch gears just a little bit, because I will not be on the show for the whole time. I'm leaving. Damon is holding down the show today. But I wanted to make a couple of announcements. Of course, everybody know, I got the book.
Right. Drew Morris, call back. Call back, brother. Okay. Go ahead, AJ.
I got the book that's out. I'm promoting the book. So I'm actually going to be on another show to be interviewed at 7. But we have a couple of we have the book signing at Greenberg Public Library Saturday, August 20th, and Saturday, August 27th. Damon and myself will have our book signings at the together at Bougie Brews, a black-owned coffee shop in Yonkers. So I wanted to get all of that out there.
Drew, are you there? Hold on a second. Trying to get you in. Hey, Drew. Are you there, Drew?
Call from
Drew.
Hey, Drew, are you there?
To accept, press 1. To send.
Press 1.
Oh, shit. Try back again, Drew. I didn't know I had to do all that.
I was going to ask you. I'll talk to you about that offline. I know that. Yeah. Yeah, I'll hit you with that offline on the Google number. The Google number, right?
Yeah, it's the Google day.
Yeah, they announce who they are, and then you have to hit 1 to accept it. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yo, Drew, call back, man. Trying to get this thing working, man.
So we as you see, we taking things to the next level. But yeah, I just wanted to shout out Bougie Brews. I was there yesterday, black-owned coffee shop. Dope business, really nice business. They do spoken word. They have a lot of stuff going on. And I also want to talk about, I want to shout out, we have a new black-owned comic book store in Mount Vernon, 5 Prospect, right down the street from the police department, called Miss Hulk. And they have everything in there. Damon, you would lose your mind. The comics that are in there,
really,
they have everything in there. Yeah, I went in there. They got comics I ain't never heard of, like the Red She-Hulk. I didn't know there was a Red She-Hulk. Like I was word. Yeah. Like yeah. I was like, but she got everything, and they got the old school arcade games in there. Like
all right, hold on a second. We're gonna make this happen.
All right, no doubt.
Accept, press 1. To send a voicemail, press 2.
Hey, Drew.
Okay, fine. We got it together.
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna bring you in.
Oh, okay, you didn't do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Drew, you there?
Yep, I'm here. How y'all doing this Sunday?
What's going on, my brother?
Nothing much, man. So, Damon, you just brought up a good point. And the biggest point that you brought up is something that I've been reiterating. When do people learn how to draw the line? Everybody complained about the crime bill back in the 90s, and then when it happens, it was like, oh, it's too extreme. Now people are crying about the gun violence. But if they take it to the extreme and get out there and shut things down, then people are going to say it's too extreme to this way. So when are we able to come to a middle ground? And, you know, people always want to make this seem like a red and blue thing, right? But it's the truth be told, it's just we weren't respecting our community. And one of the biggest issues I have with the person that's running for the Republican nomination is he shows no respect to the Black community. I mean, every day he gets up there and talks about removing the first Black elected, not appointed, but elected Manhattan District Attorney.
Right.
With no real reason on why he's removing him when it looks like he just played footsies with the Monroe County District Attorney that undercharges people. And, you know, I don't say this to glorify, but, you know, I had my running with the system I spent time. And one thing everybody knows that comes out of Monroe County is those district attorneys overcharge you up there. So for her to undercharge somebody, it's really alarming and it's really shocking. But he is running his whole campaign talking about banning books on Black history and firing the first elected Black Manhattan District Attorney. He's going after the Hispanic vote. He's going after the Jewish vote. But he's not even trying to entice Black voters. The only thing he's saying is vote for me and I'll keep y'all safe by locking up everybody in y'all communities. Like, you know, when do we get tired of the disrespect?
I want to say one thing to that, and I say this a lot on the show. We also have to be more specific in what we ask for. Like, everybody was calling for the government to do something during the crack era, and when they did something, it was the crime bill, and that became the mass incarceration of Black people. Everybody was calling for something to do about people being stuck in jail up until the time because they couldn't afford bail and something had to be done. But then when they did something, they did too much, and now the bail reform needs to be reformed. When we ask for stuff, and we have to be more specific in exactly what we want.
Yeah.
When George Floyd died, we wanted a chokehold bill. So then when Eric Garner died, we wanted a chokehold bill. So after George Floyd died, they gave us a chokehold bill, but George Floyd didn't die of a chokehold. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like, what good is so we have to educate ourselves, and we have to be more specific in what we want, and we have to demand, we have to understand what we want, and then we have to articulate that, and we need to go out there and force and make noise with these elected officials and demand exactly what we want. Problem is, a lot of us don't know what we want, and that's part of the problem.
Drew, thank you, my brother, for calling in. We're going to try to let some other people call in, and have a blessed day, brother. Thank you. Yes.
Before I go though, I do want to announce for everybody this Wednesday to check out Race Talk Revolution with Lane Cobb. I am a guest co-host on there, and the guest this week will be Damon, and we'll be talking about mental health, dealing with our Black men and our Black boys, because we don't often talk about mental health in our community, and when we do, somehow Black men and Black boys are left out of that conversation. So we will be speaking, Damon will be speaking a lot on that and other topics on Race Talk Revolution this Wednesday, 12 noon to 1:30. So I want everybody to check that out. It'll stream live on Facebook like our show, and we'll share it on our pages so y'all can watch it. Or you can go to the Race Talk Revolution page. Yes. Lane said we are not talking to each other and we are not working together. That is also a big problem. I just had this conversation. We have pockets of people over here and pockets of people over here, and everybody's trying to do something. The left hand don't know what the right hand is doing, and we do not communicate, or we don't combine our forces. Like, we feel like, well, it got to be done this way, and I got to lead the charge, and this one got to lead the charge, or whatever. We don't understand our power in numbers. Right. So, absolutely. As y'all see, these are some topics that we real passionate about. We've been sounding the alarm for the last 8 years. And Damon, way even longer before Black Westchester. But in Black Westchester, we've been sounding the alarm for this stuff for 8 years. Most of the time, other communities give us our wants.
Yeah, and not our needs.
Right.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. There you go.
Absolutely. I totally agree. And that's but you know what? Part of it is they play on the emotions of the people. So we actually, they say, well, this is what y'all guys wanted, and it's really not what we need, right? It's just like we need a change in this bail reform, right? We need a change in the halt bill, in how we deal with inmates that assault other inmates, that assault civilian workers, and that assault officers. We need a change in that. Right, we need the change that if you sexually assault a correction officer, or you sexually abuse a correction officer, that you get charged, you get a felony, automatic. So we need these changes. We need to treat people in jail in a humane fashion, but we need to invest in schools more than we invest in prisons. It doesn't make any sense. While children in Mount Vernon and teachers have to make copies of textbooks to give to the kids because they don't have enough books, that inmates got iPads. But the kids in Mount Vernon don't have iPads. We have to look at things differently and stop appeasing to a small group of people, while the people that you claim that you're helping is still suffering. It's still not getting better. Black Westchester will be honored on September 15th. Thank you, Shanice.
Yes, by Kim Bright's group. What's the
LDS?
LPS.
Right? LPS, right?
Yes. Brother Damon, myself, and Dr. Bob will be honored for Black Westchester. Yes. Oh, and before I go, shout out to Damon K. Jones, who just celebrated his birthday on the 27th.
Thank you.
Tasha Young, who just celebrated her birthday on the 27th. They're like birthday twins or something. And Dr. Bob, who just celebrated his birthday on the 29th.
Well, and Latanya had a birthday the 28th.
Oh, okay.
Happy birthday, friend of the show.
So everybody who's celebrating their birthdays. Also, my condolences to the family of, I forget her name, Mary. I forget her name. She played the Oracle. The woman that played the Oracle in Matrix. She just passed.
Oh, really? And so
yes.
did with the basketball legend, Bill Russell just passed.
Oh man.
Yeah. I saw that, Bill Russell. Oh, and happy birthday, Wesley Snipes.
Yes. There's quite a few people got birthdays around this time, but I wanted to make sure we shouted out Damon and Dr. Bob, because they just celebrated their birthdays. And there's so much going on right now. There was something else I wanted to bring up. I forgot. The newspaper's out. We're working on the August 19th issue. Well, August 15th issue that'll come out August 19th, Friday. You need to get in now to get your advertisement in this week and next week, the next 10 days or so we can, if you're trying to advertise in the next issue, especially all you elected officials running in the upcoming primary, hit us. And I think that was all my announcements. I'm sure there was something I forgot, and I ask y'all forgive me. I am logging off in a few minutes, but I want everybody on to tune on here. I'm doing an interview on another show. I don't want you to tune off here. I will put the link. I will put the video of the other interview on Black Westchester later, so y'all can watch that later. But make sure y'all stay here. We got a powerful guest coming in the next for the second hour.
Yeah, the second hour we have Reverend Conrad Tillard. He's running for New York State Senate in 25th district, and we're gonna have we have a great conversation with him, and we got to talk about some issues, because I think the tide is turning into really identifying politicians that say that they're common sense Democrats, right? We're gonna legislate with common sense.
I'm sorry. I mean to interrupt you. Lieutenant Horror, Michelle Nichols transitioned today.
Really?
The sister
Wow.
from Star Trek. Yeah.
Wow.
And I have to say, she was like the first sister, like in space. Like yo, she was like, her role was a big deal. So I just went, wow. So yeah, we lost a couple.
Man. Yeah, Nas, we gonna talk about that. Stay tuned. What's your thought?
I was surprised that was gonna be one of the next topics, but we went somewhere else with it. But yeah, that's it's getting crazy right now.
Well, you know, that's the boldness. That's the boldness of the lack of the lack of accountability, you know, because they're robbing cops now, you know. So if an off-duty cop with a weapon get robbed, then nobody's safe.
Right, and it was coming to this because there were several videos of cops being beat up. You know what I'm saying? Like the situation in the subway, that dude, I mean, he was really giving the cop a rough way. And there was a couple of other situations.
Listen, I tell people, see, I'm old school, right? I'm old school. When I started in 1990, we will beat your ass. It wasn't no ifs, ands, or buts about that. You know, that young boy should be lucky he's not dead. Because see, we were taught if you feel that you get in a headlock and you feel your gun, then you just shoot. You shoot. You understand? Because if he puts him unconscious, he got his weapon.
Right.
You know that those cops use a lot of restraint. See the
you don't hear about that. You don't often hear about that.
See the thing is today is some of these protest profiteers have built such an atmosphere and they make money off this anti-police stuff. It's one thing to talk about accountability of the police. And some of these dudes that I follow are just, and I see on Instagram, are so over the top. It's like, yo, you ain't gonna say that if your black ass get robbed.
Right.
You're gonna be looking for the police. See, in the black community, and the black community, we it's nothing but chaos. So you know, you got politicians talking about taking away guns from the police, but you can't get the illegal guns off the street. They just passed the law that off-duty peace officers, that's correction, probation, parole, school safety officers, and sheriffs, all throughout New York State, we can't carry off-duty in public places. Are you kidding me? But you can't get the illegal guns off the street with the gangbangers. This is complete government buffoonery. Government buffoonery.
Call from
Latanya.
Oh, there we go.
to accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hello.
Hey, Damon, how are you?
I'm fine. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you for having me. I so appreciate this.
No, it's great.
I just wanted to say that the way that you were trained, I was raised, and there was no privacy in my mother's house. There was no privacy. There was no, you can't come in my room. I have rights. My mother was flipping rooms and flipping beds. My father was flipping rooms and flipping beds. You didn't have privacy in their home.
Right.
How are these kids having guns in the house, having weapons, having drugs, having whole stashes of weaponry in your home and you not know it? It's time for us to start parenting our kids and parenting our homes, starting in our house. And that's the only thing I want to say.
I agree with you 100%. It's definitely a whole nother generation because you ain't had no rights in my house. You wasn't paying no bills. You didn't have no rights. You wanted some rights. You need to go get your own.
Exactly.
You were following the laws of the house if you wanted to stay at the house. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't want to follow the rules, you got to get the hell out.
Pay your own bills.
Right.
Exactly.
My parents broke up. My dad moved out. And when I wasn't following the rules,
gotta go.
I was just like, get out and go to your dad's house. Like,
Exactly.
He wasn't disrespecting the house. Like, you ain't gonna follow the rules. You got to go.
Well, but
exactly.
that
great job, guys.
Thank you. That has that also have so many layers on it because we have to address Black family, we have to address Black male and female relationships. We got to address so many things, because it's just not one solution, to the problem. But what we see out front is the crime and violence. But if those officials can get a hold of the crime and violence, those people that in the community that actually care, we have to really address the social issues. Because Captain Dennis Muhammad used to always say, man, he was like, we got to address social issues before they become criminal issues.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to start having these conversations, man, and getting these politicians. I don't know what multiverse that they're on.
Right.
I don't know what multiverse that they're on.
Well, I'm about to pull a Damon K. Jones, and I'm leaving the show and letting him hold it down like he do to me all the time. He got to go.
Yeah.
So I'm out. Make sure y'all tune in. We are back every Sunday, 6 to 8. Also, check us out tomorrow on WVOX on the Black Westchester Power Hour, 11 to 12 noon. We will be on, and Damon might be doing his health and wellness day on Mondays or something. We got a lot of
I'm trying to get that working. Trying to get that working.
No doubt. But until next week, I'm out. Peace.
Thank you, brother AJ. We're gonna take a quick break. Blacktastic. Blacktastic is a mindset backed by actions that display spirituality, self-knowledge, integrity, respect, and leadership through perseverance. The true purpose of these actions is to advance the Black family and the Black community. Be Blacktastic. Yes, you could get your Blacktastic t-shirts right here, y'all. You can get your Blacktastic t-shirts at DamonKJones.com/shop. DamonKJones.com/shop. I see my brother. He done logged in. He's up to deck, and I want to, without further ado, since he's here, I want to bring my brother on, man. I haven't talked, man. It's great. It's going to be great seeing my brother. Yes, sir, my brother. Yes, sir.
How you doing? Peace,
brother. Peace. This is Reverend Conrad Tillard. He is running as a Democrat for the primary. Right, it's the primary, right?
Right. I'm running in the 25th Senate District in Brooklyn in the Democratic primary on August 23rd. The 25th Senate District is Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Ocean Hill, and Brownsville, and a little Prospect Heights. So it's a very strong community. It's a great historic district. It's the district of Sonny Carson, G2 Busey, Al Van, Velma Montgomery, Assemblywoman Annette Robinson, and of course, the late, great Shirley Chisholm. So I'm very proud to step forward and run, and I want to represent this great series of neighborhoods.
Now, brother, for people that are just seeing you for the first time, and saying, well, what what made you, first of all, who is Reverend Conrad Tillard, right?
Right.
And then what made you decide to put your hat in this ring for the 21st district?
Sure. Well, I'm glad to be speaking to many of your good audience listeners and audience members in Westchester. And some of you may not know, but I started my consciousness happened many, many years ago. In fact, 39 years ago in 1984, when Reverend Jesse L. Jackson ran for president in 1984. I was a freshman in college, and we were inspired by Reverend Jackson's candidacy to break the ultimate glass ceiling at that time. It's a whole generation of us, people like Sister Soldier, Chuck D, and many, many others, many who would go into elected office. Donna Brazil, you see on ABC all the time. She was a part of that cadre. And so I came awake in that particular campaign when Reverend Jackson said, hands that once picked cotton would one day pick a president.
That's
And of
right.
course, I became the Pennsylvania State Student Coordinator, and then I worked in the national office. And so we were very inspired by that. America wasn't ready for a black president in 1984, but he planted the seeds because he said, if I cross the finish line with an empty wagon, then this campaign has been in vain. But if I cross the finish line and in my wagons are judges and tax assessors and school board officials and city councilmen and state assembly persons and governors, and ultimately we know that Chicago would produce another tall black man from the South Side 32 years later, and that would be Barack Obama. So that first campaign inspired me. Then, of course, I became a member of the Nation of Islam. The two most powerful voices in that era were Reverend Jackson's voice and Minister Louis Farrakhan. And I became a student minister, in fact, the national student minister of the Nation of Islam. And then I became and had the great privilege of serving at Mosque number 7 in Harlem, where Minister Farrakhan and Malcolm X had served. And so I served there with distinction for 7 years. And then I took a turn in my life. I went back to graduate school. I went to seminary, and it was there I had a conversion experience and returned to the church of my youth. I came back to Harlem and started a movement for change. And this was an important movement because it said that black youngsters in inner city, white young people who were inspired by hip hop would be the next important demographic in America.
That's right. That's
I
right.
said, hands to borrow and to paraphrase Reverend Jackson, I said hands that once scratched turntables
That's
would
right.
pick a president. And we registered tens of thousands of voters.
Right.
We got Russell Simmons and Puffy Cone into the voting movement, Master P and all these folks. And as a result of it, we saw people like Kwame Kilpatrick become the first hip hop mayor. We saw people like Cory Booker go to the United States Senate, Raphael Warnock, all of these people. And then ultimately, that movement for change concept became the Obama coalition. And so I've pastored in Harlem, of course, and Roxbury in Boston, and Bedford-Stuyvesant. And so 39 years of struggle, 39 years of service and sacrifice. I'm a resident of Bedford-Stuyvesant. I've served on the board at Boys and Girls High School, Bedford Academy. I'm a two-time PTA president. And so I've been active in community life at every level, and a former Mount Vernon resident. So I have a
That's right.
in Westchester County. I love Westchester County.
That's right.
Great place.
What differentiates you from your opponent?
Sure.
Is that Jabari? Who's your opponent?
Yeah, well, I generally don't say his name because
Yeah. Well, you know.
But I will say this. My opponent, we have a very different reality. First of all, my opponent is a member of the Democratic Socialists of America, and I am the Democratic Socialists are unrealistic. They are in many ways people who are looking for and speak about a utopian vision not possible. For example, my opponent says that he does not believe in private property. My opponent wants to abolish the jails, abolish police. And so as I look at New York City and the Black residents, brown residents, white residents of the 25th Senate District, people are very concerned about public safety. You know, some people want to lock everybody up, and we can't do that. We have to give people second chances. But my opponent doesn't want to lock anybody up. I was talking to one of his supporters the other day, and they said, I asked them, well, if somebody broke in your house, would you call the police on them? And they said, no, because I don't believe people should be in cages. And then I said, well, somebody hit you over the head, would you call the police? He said, no, I'd be more concerned about my injury. I said, well, if someone hit you over the head, would you want the people who are concerned about you to call the police? And I just walked away. He said, I know you think I'm crazy. And I said, I do. He said, I'm a voter. And I said, well, I want to win the race, and I will win the race, but I don't have to win it unanimously. And I just walked on. Because the 68-year-old mother on South Avenue in the district 3 weeks ago, her grandson is still in Maimonides Hospital now. A young 8-year-old boy had half of his skull removed to stop his swelling. He's still in a coma. He's showing very few signs of recovery that we're praying for. I went and visited with the family, had prayer with them, have been in constant contact. Instead of being concerned about the victim of a wanton crime, my opponent said, when Mayor Adams responsibly came to the scene to check on the family, he said, Mayor Adams wants to put residents of Bedford-Stuyvesant in cages. And so times are too serious. We've got problems in the city. You know, I was in New York in the 70s, 80s, 90s. You were. We don't want to go back to that. And I'm afraid my opponent, who wasn't alive in that time, he doesn't realize that law enforcement is important to having a vibrant community. So good schools we differ on. I'm for pro-choice. I believe we need to create more equity in education for parents who are working class and poor, who can't send their children to the private school that my opponent went to. We have a lot of differences. And so I'm putting forth my vision. The district, finally, it's changed quite a bit. My opponent had great strength in places like Fort Greene, Park Slope, places like Borum Hill. Well, the district now has Fort Greene projects. It goes through Clinton Hill, all of Bedford-Stuyvesant, and a huge swath of Brownsville. So I was in Brownsville yesterday. I was with people like DeCosta Headley today. I was with people like Reverend Kevin McCall, with people like A.T. Mitchell, our gun czar. And so I have deep roots, deep connections. Talked to Minister Henry Muhammad and his lovely wife. And so we're going to put forth our candidacy, which is a positive message, uplifting message of hope, and getting things accomplished. So
let me ask you, brother, because you know, earlier in the show we were discussing that, you know, it got so it's so bad that cops are being robbed of their guns and badges, you know, and nobody really is addressing. And this is just not in New York City, man. Crime, the whole New York State, you know, any place Black people are, you know, is the crime and violence is just out of control, you know, and we don't hear anything, you know, we don't hear, you know, other than Eric, you know, from strong elected officials on what they need to do to fix it. And a lot of people don't want to push back on the New York State laws that they created that created this mess.
Yeah, well, you know, bail reform is something that I have supported, in the sense that it makes sense. And I really do salute the legislature, people like Patrice Walker and others who fought for this, because all it really says is that if you commit a crime and I commit a crime, there's a presumption of innocence in our system. And if I have $50 to post bail, I can get out. And if you don't have $50 to post bail, you can't get out. So we understand why it was created, to create more equity.
Right.
and in that sense, it's a good thing. But all laws, there's no perfect law, and sometimes when you do something that's well intended, you got to look at the unintended consequences.
That's
We
right.
did that law was not written so that people could get arrested 30 times back on the street. A man tried to stab Lee Zeldin, who is a sitting U.S. congressperson, someone running for governor. A man attacked him. Fortunately, he was able to disarm him. That man was arrested and out that same night on his own recognizance.
Exactly.
I mean, it took the federal government to come in and arrest his butt and put him in jail. And that's not what this law was intended to do, or maybe the legislature didn't think that through. But we've got to talk about how do you fix that so that recidivist criminals, listen, you and I have worked in the Black community for a long time. In Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brownsville, Clinton Hill, Fort Greene, most of our folks are law-abiding citizens. It's
go.
only a few criminals and people who have decided that they want to live their life victimizing people. We cannot play games with them. We've got to hold them accountable, arrest them. I've done prison ministry in every state, in prison in New York State, and I will continue to minister to them in confinement so that they cannot hurt anybody until they are reformed. Does that make sense? My opponent doesn't seem to think that human beings belong in cages, and I don't either, quite frankly. In fact, if you want to put them in the Waldorf Astoria, go ahead and do that. But if they're victimizing people, get them off the street until we can rehabilitate them, reform them, teach them a knowledge of self so that they are not hurting other people. That's right. Have to be responsible. We have to look out for victims.
Right. I found when I hear people that talk about that, they're really disconnected to what's actually going on in the community.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I was talking to a group the other day, and and I told these good folks, and they were young whites in their 20s who just moved into Bedford-Stuyvesant, and I told them, first of all, when you come to a community, you should come humble. You should come wanting to learn what the issues are in the community, and you should understand that there's a great deal of collective wisdom in the community. When I hear people say crime is a function of poverty, it's a rather it's a naive and almost racist suggestion, because certainly some crime is motivated by poverty. If a person is hungry and they're stealing food, but let's face it, many blacks, many people in urban communities, whites, ethnic whites, Italians, Irish, Latinos were born poor, but their families taught them ethics and
that's right.
respect and honesty. It's an insult to say that people who commit crimes are doing so only because they're poor. And when people say that, I agree with you. That tells me, number one, they are disconnected from the community, and in a real sense, they are patronizing the community. And when I talked to that fella and asked him if somebody cracked him upside the head, would he call the police? And he said no. Then I know that he and people who talk like that are not dealing in reality. There's an 8-year-old boy, young Jacob Christopher, in Maimonides Hospital. His life will never be the same again.
That's right.
Some young brother took a car and, without regard for human life, rode down Ralph Avenue and mowed his grandmother down. She's dead.
Wow.
His circumstances are changed forever. And we cannot continue to look past victims of crime in this sort of socialist, utopian, ultimately naive vision. This is not campus. This is not the Student Government Association. This is the New York State Senate.
Yes, sir. Quick question. We were having a conversation earlier before you came on, and the need of an investment back into the community, because me and you, we've done a lot of work in the community. I'm a correction officer 35 years. I understand the need for treating people in a humane way.
Absolutely.
But when inmates have iPads and PlayStations and high-speed internet, and the kids in Mount Vernon or kids in black neighborhoods in New York will go to school and don't even have textbooks, why? No, nobody sees a problem with that.
Yeah, that's why I want to go to the legislature, because, we have a legislative body that requires people who are able to think and able to put things in perspective. And when you talk about prisons, yes, those men are one day coming home, and that's why I have always advocated, and I differ with my opponent in that, he and many of his friends do not believe in law enforcement officers. They do not believe that there are good law enforcement officers, and in fact, you and those that I've worked with that work with you are proof that there are community conscious people in law enforcement who care about our people. So, those men are coming home. Those women are coming home. And we've got to reinvest in them. There's no question about that. But you're absolutely right. When our values have become so perverse that you can have all of those things in prison and not have those things in schools, we need people who have the credibility, the ability to say to the citizens, the electorate, we have to prioritize what's important, and we have to have a set of priorities that make sense. So I agree with you. That's why I want to go to Albany. A state legislator is not a chief executive, but
Right.
when you have people at the table that have life experience. I've raised a family in Bedford-Stuyvesant. I've sent children to public schools in New York, to parochial schools in New York, as well as independent schools. So I know what the issues are around education. My opponent does not. And so these things make a difference. I've owned a home, but I'm currently a renter, but I rent from a Black man. And I understand when my opponent talks about, and his followers talk about, they don't believe in landlords, and they don't believe that the private market, the free market, can produce affordable housing. They think that people have the right to live free on other people. I mean, these are naive ideas. These are ideas that hurt Black and brown homeowners, people who have bought brownstones, and maybe they were the first person in their home, in their family to
That's
own.
right.
They depend on rental income to be able to pay their mortgage and accrue wealth. So for many reasons, I'm asking the people who live in Westchester, if you have family in Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brownsville, Prospect Heights, let them know that Conrad Tillard is a common sense Democrat, common sense activist that wants to go to Albany to be able to look at all of those things and be able to call things that don't make sense out.
Exactly.
That does not make sense.
Exactly. One last. I got a last question, man, because I was texting my union president, right? Because good friend of mine, Commissioner Molina, who's the commissioner of New York City Department of Corrections, and he was once our deputy commissioner at one point in time, but also they have been especially in New York City and up in Westchester County, where female officers, and New York City, it says male officers too, have been sexually harassed and sexually assaulted, and there's literally no state law to protect these officers, because nothing, even after a public testimony in Westchester County, no charges. Would you be in full support of laws like that? Because it's how can you not press charges, but if that person was out on the street and he would have touched a woman in public, he would have been able to have been locked up. But because he's locked up already, they really don't do much to him.
Yeah, I need to learn more about it, and this first time I'm hearing about it.
Okay.
And what I pledge to do with all legislation, one of the things my opponent does not do is he won't talk to people that he disagrees with. And so from different lobbies that he has already predetermined don't need to be listened to, he won't meet with people. And so
really,
coalition of folks from small property owners many groups that are just outraged at his ideological performance. I tell you, one of the local elected officials asked him to provide some funding to give out turkeys on Thanksgiving, because many folks in the district struggle.
Right,
Holiday eat turkeys. Well, he's a vegan, and he told her, "I don't think it's ethical for me to give out money."
What, he just couldn't cut a check and call it a day.
So because he doesn't eat turkey, nobody in the 25th Senate is allowed turkey. So that's the kind of legislator he is. So what I will say to you is that sounds like something very important. And what I will do is listen to all folks and do what I'm supposed to as a legislator. Listen to folks that bring issues of concern, and counsel with my colleagues and things that people feel very strongly about. I'll look at it. I'll look at both sides.
Right. Absolutely.
We'll bring good legislation. So that's what I will do. And for that issue and many other issues, because that's the thing. As a legislator, legislator, you don't know all the issues that will come forth.
Right.
But you got to have a very, very sharp mind. You have to be very deliberative, and you have to have a lot of life experience to be able to make the best assessment on these issues.
Yes, brother. Thank you, man. If people want to reach out to you, if they want to contact you, what's the information, brother?
If you want to contact me, go to my Instagram, Conrad for Senate, my Twitter at Conrad Tillard, and my Facebook, Conrad Bennett, Bennette, Tillard, Tillard, or Conrad for Senate. I'd love to hear from folks in Westchester. In fact, on the 9th, we're having a fundraiser in Westchester, and I will get you the information. So you can,
definitely, brother. Definitely, man. Definitely.
What's the restaurant? Soul Kitchen. It's coming up on the 9th. And I'll get you the information.
Yeah. Give me the information, man, so we could definitely post it and get people out there.
It's gonna be hosted by one of my mentors, your friend and my friend, Mayor Ernie D. Davis. Okay. Right.
Now I got show.
I know. All right, love you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man.
Okay. All right.
That's Reverend Conrad Tillard, man. Let's give him another round of applause. Great friend of the show. Great friend of the show. Great friend of the show. So, like I said, if anybody wants to call in, 914-418-4681, 914-418-4681. We're trying to, it's a process to try to get everything going, but this is the People Before Politics show, and I am Damon K. Jones, and we're going to take another quick break because you know what? Because we are Blacktastic. Blacktastic. Blacktastic is a mindset backed by actions that display spirituality, self-knowledge, integrity, respect, and leadership through perseverance. The true purpose of these actions is to advance the Black family and the Black community. Be Blacktastic. Yes. Get your Blacktastic t-shirt. Get your Blacktastic t-shirt and DamonKJones.com/shop. That's DamonKJones.com/shop. And we want to thank everybody. I want to again thank Reverend Conrad Tillard for coming on. If you know anybody out in Brooklyn in the 25th district, please call and give him his name. And when he does the fundraiser up here in Westchester County, we definitely going to post the flyer, hosted by Mayor Ernie Davis. So that will be that's going to be an extra event. I tell you, it's going to be an extra event. So So definitely make that happen. So, I want to go, let me see here. I want to go back to see if I could bring it up. I want to go back to Black Westchester, because that's what we are, and discuss a couple of articles, and actually discuss a couple of articles here. So these are the latest. Please go to blackwestchester.com. Please go to blackwestchester.com and check out the website. We're trying to definitely give the news with a black point of view. I did an article, and it's in the paper. Why are Black men invisible and missing from the national healthcare agenda? And I think one thing that has been being overlooked is Black men's health. The Black community's health in general, right? But definitely Black men. Black men are 24% less likely than women to have visited a doctor in the past year, but are 32% more likely to be hospitalized. Black men are far less likely to access health care than white men or any group of women. Black men are 75% less likely to have health care insurance than white men. 30% of all men, compared to 90% of women, do not have a regular physician. If you have a Black man in your life, you should make sure that he sees the doctor. You want the Black point of view with the Bishop robbery scam. We going, after I address this, Nas, we're gonna get into that too. But if you have a Black man in your life, make sure that he sees the doctor. That's part of relationship and love, is that Black women make sure they Black men, whether if they're husbands, uncles, nephews, sons, make sure the Black man in your life is able to see the doctor, right? Because if you want him in your life, if you're married, you don't want to be a widow. You marry a person to grow old with that person. That's the intention. So you have to make sure that that Black man goes to the doctor. Black men have the lowest life expectancy rate at 72.2 years. The life expectancy for white men was 70.76 years. And for white women, it's 81.1 years. And for Black women, it's 78.2 years. Prostate cancer is the most common cancer amongst Black men, accounting for 37% of all new cases. Although prostate cancer is also most commonly diagnosed cancer in white men, incident rates are 73% higher in Black men. Right? But we are still missing and invisible in the fight for prostate cancer, because prostate cancer gets the lowest funding when it's compared to breast cancer. So Black men are continually missing. Black men must listen when we tell them to go to the doctor before it's an emergency. You talk about it all the time, Damon. Preventive care. Yes, absolutely. 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 And we also, when health and wellness, we must also really talk about this article is just addressing health, wellness, and mental clarity among Black men, which nobody wants to talk about. We don't have those type of conversations. 1 in 5 boys are sexually abused before the age of 18. And the rates are dramatically higher in Black areas, marred by systematic poverty, broken homes, high unemployment, and sociological problems. Research suggests that young boys in particular may be extremely uncomfortable around other men and may suffer from confusion and anxiety about their own masculinity when becoming adult. There's a large number of young Black boys being molested and raped, and we don't want to talk about it. We do not want to see. We don't want to have these type of conversations, but we need to have these type of conversations. Researchers have sounded the alarm about the number of young Black men dying by suicide, but nobody is listening. Black leaders or Black community, especially, Black women, that nobody's listening. But we are killing ourselves through suicide at an enormous rate. Black men are invisible. I wanted to read this article because I think we have to push it to the point, because we are your husbands, we are your fathers, we are your uncles, we are your nephews, we are all that. And these are the conversations that we need to have. And it just can't, it just cannot be ignored anymore. It's a unfortunate cultural condition that even our Black women failed to realize the need for a mentally stable Black man. When a Black man is open about his mental health, a lot of times he's perceived as weak or not masculine. We have made toxic masculinity more of a norm than healthy masculinity. Healthy masculinity is admitting that you need help and seeking help and looking for the help. Toxic masculinity is hiding it and not wanting to be mindful of the help that you need. So, a lot of times Black men suffer alone. So we have to address this. We have to be mindful of anxiety and depression. She says, my 23-year-old nephew, Nathaniel, committed suicide 5 years ago, and I have been listening since to hear the cry that I could not hear from my loved one. Absolutely. I am a certified first aid for mental health. And actually in my book, Black Minds Must Matter, to address anxiety and depression. And the thing is that we don't listen. A lot of times we don't listen when the person is crying out for help. A lot of times we don't even we think that they're just going to say, help me. No, they're not going to say help, because sometimes they don't even realize that they are in a deep depression themselves, So we have to be very mindful of our loved ones and look, I wrote an article before about, the young lady that killed herself, that jumped out the window. She was, if you looked at her Instagram page, she was crying for help, and nobody noticed it. We hear it, but we don't listen. We judge the cry, and that is a horrible mistake. Every cry is a cry for help. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mental health in the Black community is a very serious issue, and We just did a show last week, discussing mental health. And, so we must break the toxic cultural conditioning of competing and begin to holistically work with each other. We had, we worked together through slavery. I don't understand how, we had so many odds against us through slavery, and we can't get it together now. Like I don't know what's I don't know what's the problem. Why, with all the materialistic things that we have and everything that we own, we still can't get it together with each other. But yes, I want to talk about the pastor, right? I want to discuss the pastor. First of all, I'm trying to figure out how a pastor can have over $1 million in jewelry. And someone posted the picture of his church, and he did not invest in his church. He did not invest in his church. Integration created a sense that we do not need one another. Oh, yes, absolutely. 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 I mean, we really have to change how we see ourselves. And we have to change how we see ourselves being in these places. Because a lot of times these, we want to be in certain places, and those places are not even healthy for us. So I mean, we have a lot of work to do as Black people. We have a lot of work to do. But this pastor, man, like, someone tell me, like, how do you have $1 million in jewelry, and your church is like a storefront? When I saw the video, I actually thought that I literally actually thought that it was a hoax. Because that guy in that corner, he didn't budge. The dude in the corner didn't budge. I'm trying to pull it. I'm trying to pull it up. He didn't budge at all. So, like, unless he just knew, like, let me stay still so they won't look at me. But I think, if they didn't steal anything else and they just went after the jury, but it looked staged. Yeah. It definitely looked staged. And they said that the robbers drove away in a Mercedes Benz. So the robbers, the robbers was living just as good. They drove away in Mercedes Benz. And I'm not surprised. I'm definitely not surprised. I'm trying to see if I still got the video. No, I don't think I posted the video. But he's been doing this. This is how I know something's wrong. That pastor has been doing a lot. He's been on the internet a lot lately, and he's really sounding like an idiot. Instead of just keeping his mouth shut, going through the process, probably the jury is insured, and he's been running his mouth. He's been running his mouth, and he should just keep his mouth shut, because I really think the more he run his mouth, the more we're going to find out it was a hoax. I wouldn't be on TV. I wouldn't be talking about nothing, but it's also, a sign of the times that these churches need to start having armed security. Just because you preaching Jesus don't mean that they ain't gonna come up in your church. Even Jesus had his 12 disciples, and some of them had swords. So I think some of these pastors need to get on the program and get some of their deacons armed. It's unfortunate, but that's the time that we're living in right now, that we're gonna have to do that. If the robbers put a gun to his 8-month baby's head, that is the part that is missing, and that is terrible. And he should keep his mouth shut, telling people, yeah, exactly. Exactly. I didn't hear about the robbers putting a gun to his baby's head. It gives the Jesse Smollett case, right? Juicy. It gives the juicy vibe. Yeah, because he's running his mouth. I'm on pages, with a lot of law enforcement, a lot of different black law enforcement pages, and even some people that are detectives was like, yo, this just don't. It doesn't have the, it smells funny. Even detectives, just from the outside, like something's not right. And you could see something wasn't right. But then he's running his mouth, man. He's calling people ugly. I'm like, yo, dude, like you're not even bringing no blessings to you just by your actions. Just shut up. Just shut up. Like, how you a man of God? If it's an unfortunate action, you take it, you pray, you're supposed to forgive those who wrong, and you keep it moving. But he's out here running off at the mouth. It's like he knows it. He gives me the impression like he knows who did it. Exactly. The guy in the corner. Absolutely. And but how do you have $1 million of jury and you ain't got no security cameras in your church? You ain't got nothing but that iPhone taking your speech going live. Because there ain't no camera. That was an iPhone. That's crazy. That's really crazy. So, I think I don't even know what to say with that. But, if they do find out who it is, they're probably going to say he's a part of it. Because where are you going to get rid of all that jewelry? Because I seen some of the Instagram posts. He got all that designer, all that created jewelry, all that hood jewelry. I'm still trying to figure out what a pastor's doing with $1 million of jewelry on. I'm still trying to figure that out. Him and his wife, what the hell y'all doing with $1 million of jewelry on? You ain't no rapper. Where you going with $1 million? And then you going to Brooklyn? You think you wasn't going to get robbed with $1 million of jewelry? I don't know. This, the world is crazy. The world's insane, because if your church look like shit and you got $1 million of jewelry and you ain't invest $1 million in your church, then maybe God wanted you to lose that damn jewelry. I'm just saying. Maybe he wanted you to lose the jewelry because you ain't invested in the church. That church look horrible. You have the audacity to walk in a church that look like an old bodega with $1 million. You and your wife got $1 million of jewelry on. Maybe God wanted that stuff to be taken away. Exactly. Exactly. You know, your church should be, if you got $1 million of jewelry on, your church should be immaculate. It should be immaculate. If you ride around $1 million, if you got $1 million just jewelry on. And who preaches in a Gucci suit with G's all over it, man? Like what the they was posting this stuff. I'm like, yo, you got to be kidding me. And then the churches look like a storefront. I mean, I truly think it's God's reckoning. Because you can't pimp God but for so long. You can't pimp God but for so long. That's a perfect example of him pimping God. Because there's no investment even in God's house. You see a lot of these pastors out here, and rightfully so. They got nice things. But their churches look immaculate, clean. This dude and his wife got $1 million of jewelry, and their church looked like a bodega. Something's not right. Something's absolutely not right. And maybe God meant this to happen to teach him a lesson. He should have invested that $1 million in his church. And then they say he's in debt. Another report came out, he's in debt. So if that's the case, that insurance money is trying to pay off the debt. And then he get the insurance back. I don't know. How did he attain that wealth is a question. Yeah, well, I saw something about he was doing like real estate courses and stuff like that, and I saw something. But $4.4 million house in New Jersey. Yeah, but they say he's behind on his mortgage or something. Let me look. Hold on a second. Google. Pastor. Yeah, it says says the plot thickens. Let me see what's this. It says is this Black Enterprise? Yeah, Black Enterprise. Black Enterprise. I'll put it up because I don't want nobody saying I'm trying to beat up the pastor. I don't want nobody to say I'm trying to beat up the pastor. Can't be from the parishioners with the church looking like that. They should be absolutely. Well, right here it says that the pastor Rob doing live stream allegedly swindled $90K from parishioner, and he's in debt $355K. He denounced the press Friday after many social media sleuths have dug into the church's head's past outing and his felonious history. Reports additionally maintain that New Jersey developing company won a lawsuit against the ex-con pastor for more than $350 in unpaid dues. Why would he have a press conference? This dude had a press conference. Like, what is wrong with you? Why would he have a press conference? Like, see that right there? That's how you go to jail. That's literally how you go to jail. The eyes tell you everything. I'm good at reading energy, and this man has an arrogance about him that isn't holy. Wow. He does not have wise advisors around him. Yeah. Only thing, listen, let me tell you, only thing you do is pray for that brother. And whatever's gonna happen is in God's hands. But I tell you what, the more he opens up his mouth, the more people are digging and the more people are finding out. Sometimes you know, it's karma. You rob people in one way, and God will make sure you get robbed back in another way. So, we got to be very conscious of our karma. As I get older, I'm very conscious of it. When you're a young man, when you're young, you don't think about it all the time. As you get old, you start thinking about karma. I'm that's real talk. But oh man, what happened? Oh man, what happened here? Let me see something. I can't even. Yeah. So, anybody got any more questions? Because we almost at the end of the show. And if you want one of the Black Westchester, make sure make sure everybody y'all go to Amazon and get my man AJ Woodson's book. You definitely gotta get the book, and definitely check out. I'm trying to put. Let me see if I could put the link here. Let me see if I could put the link here to AJ's book in the group. But definitely get AJ. He said, I pray for him either way because what's a miserable experience, whether robbed or not. The reality is everyone in the church was not in on it. So they were traumatized. Absolutely. 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 It's sad, man. It's sad. But what do you do? What do you do? But if you want AJ's book, I'm going to right now, I'm going to give you all the link. Book by my brother, AJ Woodson. And I think another thing is, we have to start really asking a lot of these politicians what's going on. So I just posted AJ's. Well, it only says that it's in. Doesn't say Facebook. Well, I'm going to post it in the group. AJ's book in the Facebook group. But anybody got any questions? Because we're about to go, about to end this. Because we have talked about everything, and we have even prayed for that pastor. we even prayed for the pastor today. You know, so if he go to jail, he got some prayers coming, because I really think after this investigation over, he's going to be done. He's going to definitely be done. I think it's going to be over for him. The party was nice. Thank you. The party was nice. You know, I had a good time. They're gonna the promoter, my man Doug B. He's gonna do another one, and it was a mature crowd. I think that's something that's needed in Westchester. You know, a place where mature people can go. You know, you don't have to get all dressed up. You could come casual, but still have a good time. You know, talent did his thing. You know, as always. You know, the comedians was good. The band was decent. You know, the DJ was good. You know, so you know, I think we need safe places. You know, we need, as mature Black men and women, you know, we need safe places to go. You know, where we can just have a good time, and it ain't no nonsense, and it ain't no craziness. You know, we all getting old. We can't be doing all that, and it's safe. You know, I always tell my wife, like, listen, you know, you got to be careful out there, because a lot of these places ain't safe. You know, and she be out there flossing and looking 1,000. Now, dudes look at that and try to rob you. You know, they try to rob you. They don't care. So, you know, for their own safety, man, you know, and ladies, for your own safety, you know, watch your surroundings, watch when you go to some of these parties. Sometimes you don't need to be seen all the time. Some places you just need to stay away from. You know, that's the point where we living at right now. You know, that's the point where we live in. So we have to be, you know, definitely we have to be for that. You know, because it's getting so dangerous. You know, like I said, if they robbing police, you know, if they robbing police, they ain't gonna give a damn about you. They're not gonna give a damn about you if they robbing police. So don't think, you know, you in your hometown and you flossing and all that, somebody would still take you. Somebody would still take you. Shit, I'm born. I don't be going out like that. It is what it is. I don't be going out like that. You know, because it's too dangerous out there. And I don't want to die, and I don't want to kill nobody. And that's how you keep everybody safe. I just mind my business. Go out here and there, pick and choose where you go, making sure that it's nice, mature, you know, because you don't want, I don't want to die, and I don't want to kill nobody. And I'll definitely try to kill somebody before I die. Or we both die. Like that cop, like, I don't understand, because he put his hand out. He created the distance that we're trained to do. He put his hand out, but then he ain't pull out. He created that distance. If y'all watch the video, he created the distance. He put his hand out. That's what you're taught in the academy. He put his hand out, but he reached for his gun, but he ain't pull out. Listen, we both would have been dead. That's how it is. We both would have been dead. I might have got shot, but I would have shot you too. I would have shot you too. And I would just keep pulling the trigger. We both would have been dead. It's no way. I don't give a shit. You know, some people say, "Oh, he was a rookie," and all that. I don't give a shit. We all would have been. We would have been dead. That's all I gotta say. It had been two dead people, and they would have had a great funeral for me, because I would have just died as a hero cop, and it would have been it would definitely been a training. It definitely been a training lesson for cops to come. But I'd be damned if I would allow my badge and my motherfucking gun to get taken. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. If I got a gun, I'm shooting you. But somehow, you're just not going to have a gun on me and I'm going to give you my gun. No, I'm going to shoot you because we both going to be dead. We both going to be dead. So I don't know. You know, we got to pray for that cop too. Because I know he's feeling real fucked up right now. All right, y'all. This is the People Before Politics show. We have talked up everything, and I want to thank everybody: Nas, Duncan, AJ, Latanya, everybody, Lane, everybody that was watching the show. I want to thank. I definitely want to thank y'all, man. Make sure you go to DamonKJones.com/shop. You could get the Blacktastic t-shirt. You could get the Black Love Movement t-shirt. And you could get the I Stand Alone with God t-shirt. So all the t-shirts, and you could get my books. My books is on my website, DamonKJones.com. And definitely go to Amazon for AJ's book, Black Westchester, the origin story, and how my faith was instrumental in this great experience, by AJ Woodson, editor-in-chief.com. And see y'all next week. I'm out of here. Peace, love. God is in your vegetables. Stay blacktastic, and we are out of here.
22 million black victims of Americanism are waking up, and they're gaining a new political consciousness, becoming politically mature. And as they develop this political maturity, they're able to see the recent trends in these political elections. Any minority that has a block of votes that stick together is in a strategic position. Either way you go, that's who gets it. You're in a position to determine who go to the White House and who stay in the doghouse. You're the one who has that power. You and I have never seen democracy. All we've seen is hypocrisy. Today, and look around America, we see America not through the eyes of someone who has enjoyed the fruits of Americanism. We see America through the eyes of someone who has been the victim of Americanism. We don't see any American dream. We've experienced only the American nightmare. We haven't benefited from America's democracy. We've only suffered from America's hypocrisy. And the generation that's coming up now can see it, and are not afraid to say it.